Cyclone MMA. I don't know, guys. What do you think? I think Bradley Martin can save the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division is at its absolute weakest, and I think Bradley Martin, being a 265-pound bodybuilder, might juice up that division. I think he can beat Tom Aspinall and John Jones in the same night if you give him the opportunity to do so. Bryce Mitchell's a guy who exists, who's he's been up to some shenanigans. Bryce Mitchell is in some hot water right now. This is not news. This is just a little history lesson. This happened like a couple weeks ago. Bryce Mitchell was really gassing up Adolf Hitler, which I wouldn't recommend. That's a publicity nightmare. It's a weird take too. It's like one of the worst guys in history, and you're like, I'd go fishing with that guy. That's a crazy thing to say. I was wondering like how the UFC would react to this. I knew like whatever, they're not going to actually do anything. They didn't do anything. I'm not saying that necessarily they should do anything. Dana White basically just called him a complete idiot. And I'm talking about this because the UFC 314 press conference just barely happened. And man, what a ride that was, from what we're going to talk about in this video with Jean Silva and Bryce Mitchell, but also the Diego Lopez, Alexander Volkanovski. That fight right there is going to break my heart because I love both of those boys. But Bryce Mitchell, it seems like, you know, I was wondering like what was going to happen. Like there was a bunch of memes going around of like Josh Emmett versus Bryce Mitchell rematch, just so like Bryce Mitchell can get knocked out again. But it seems like Dana is trying to put a hit out on Bryce Mitchell because it's low-key worse than that. Not that fighting Josh Emmett again would do great things for Bryce Mitchell's brain, but Jean Silva is the next opponent for Bryce Mitchell, and I did not get this video to loop, so we're going to fix that right now. But yeah, Jean Silva, dude, the guy who, as soon as he got into the UFC, he won a decision on the Dana White Contender Series, and then since then, he's just been knocking everybody out. Charles Jourdain, he went up a weight class and fought Drew Dober and knocked out Drew Dober. That's Drew Dober, dude. That's a big boy. That's a power puncher. He's just been the absolute man, and everyone loves him. He's part of this Fighting Nerds team that's just taking over the UFC, and it seems like Bryce Mitchell's going to have his back up against the wall. You know, I give him a chance in this fight. If he's able to get it to the ground, he's an amazing grappler. He's still an elite fighter. But Jean Silva seems like the future, and Bryce Mitchell and him really kind of went at it during this press conference. Dude, weird press conference. You had Bryce Mitchell, who was just quiet and angry, and you could tell he was pissed off at Jean Silva because he has Lord tattooed on his chest. Or on his, sorry, I'm seeing now that it's like right below the nips there. Yeah, he's mad about that because Bryce Mitchell's super religious. You had that going on, and then you had Jean Silva doing a bunch of like fuck Bryce Mitchell chants, trying to get the audience in on it. One thing I'll say is I was a little bit surprised how anti-Bryce the UFC crowd was. Not that it's not warranted, and you know, Bryce Mitchell said a bunch of crazy shit, but I just have such little faith in the UFC audience at this point that I figured that they'd be like, yeah, Bryce, it's okay. You can say those things. It's cool. But they did not give him a warm reception. They gave him quite the contrary. And Jean Silva's just he's the new kid in town, and he's the new toy that everybody wants to play with. Pause. That was a weird thing to say. But yeah, dude, you had Jean Silva barking, literally. It was fucking terrifying, bro. It was really, really weird. He's a strange guy. The Fighting Nerds are a strange team. Like, you see it right there. Like, what's up with the glasses? I know you're the Fighting Nerds. I know that's your thing. I guess it's working. It's a shtick that is sticking. But I don't know, man. What in the Bryce Mitchell? Dana White, you're rude. You're trying to kill your boy Bryce Mitchell. Another thing I didn't even bring up, Jean Silva brought a globe to the press conference and kept like floating it around, because another crazy thing that Bryce believes in is he thinks that the earth is flat. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I feel like the amount of brain trauma he's received is not going to help the belief system. With that being said, Bryce Mitchell, if you ever need someone to come on your pod and have a chat with you, I'm happy to talk all things aliens, Jesus, and the shape of the earth. So, looking forward to meeting up with you. Peace out, everybody. Let me know down below what you think. Should Bradley Martin join the UFC so he can be the future heavyweight champion? Like and subscribe. Smash the like button with your forehead. Snort the subscribe button. I don't know what we're even doing at this point. Goodbye.